Today on The Real Story, leadership changes on the way in the capital city. Mayor Luke Bronin's announcement that he's not running for re-election is opening up the city's top spot, and already the first candidate has announced his intentions. Former state senator and former Superior Court Judge Eric Coleman is first up this morning. And the landscape of Connecticut's higher education is starting to see some major changes while facing some major concerns like nationwide enrollment decline, achievement gap issues, and the high costs leading to massive student debt. Joining us to talk about the merging of most of Connecticut's community colleges is the president of the Connecticut State Colleges and University System, Terrence Chang. Good morning, and thanks for joining us on The Real Story. I'm Jenn Bernstein. Well, the city of Hartford will usher in a new leader. Current Mayor Luke Bronin made a big announcement last week that he will not seek a third term in office. In the 7 years he's been in office, the city faced numerous struggles. In fact, as he was taking over, Hartford was on the brink of bankruptcy. But now he says he's making a change. He says he's not sure what's next. But the field to take over his position is already starting to form. Last week, former state senator and Superior Court Judge Eric Coleman announced that he's running. And this morning, Judge Coleman joins us to talk about this run. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Being here. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so you had more than 30 years in the legislature. We were just talking about it. You were in the House of Representatives, then you were a state senator. You have had an incredibly impressive career on the bench as well as a judge. Why take this on now?
That's a very good question. The simple answer to that question is because I care about Hartford. And I think I have the background, the insight, and the experience in order to lead Hartford through whatever crisis it may face.
Talk to me about your experience. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, again, you've had this robust career. You have amazing credentials. What do you think you can bring to the city that it needs? Thank you
for that. I hesitate to talk in these terms, and I've only talked in these terms to my family and my closest friends. But I jokingly say I have to be God's second favorite child because I've been blessed with a wonderful wife, fantastic children, beautiful family, and I've had all of these multiple opportunities in order to perform what I love, and that is public service. As you indicated, I've been a member of the House of Representatives, I've been a member of the State Senate. I've served a few years as a Superior Court judge. And now there's this opportunity to come back into public service as a mayor of what I think is a great city. It's seen its heyday, and part of the task and part of the challenge is to restore the city to some semblance of what it was during its heyday.
How do we do that?
Well, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's not one person, not a mayor, that can accomplish that, but certainly a mayor can recruit and enlist the support of the residents of the city of Hartford, the suburban areas that surround the city of Hartford. Certainly the corporate community can play a role, the faith-based community can play a role. It's just a matter of bringing all of these entities in together in order to accomplish what we want to see for our capital city.
Talk about your love of Hartford, because I was reading you spent, I think you raised your family in Bloomfield and spent decades there, right? And now you're in Hartford. So where does this passion for the city come from? Is it from working here for so many years with your career in the legislature?
Well, I first came to Hartford in 1974. And I recall the day I was driving down Asylum Avenue, what was called the Hartford Civic Center was under construction. At that point in time, Hartford was considered the financial services capital or the insurance capital of the world. The parks had all kinds of attractions in addition to baseball diamonds, cricket fields, basketball courts, swimming pools. Back in at that time, had a zoo and go-karts and horseback riding. Hartford was just, a vibrant place at that time, including a retail district that included G. Fox Department Store and Sage Allen Department Store. I lived, my first apartment, which I loved very dearly, was on Willard Street in Hartford in the Asylum Hill neighborhood. And then I moved to what was called Dauntless Lane. It's now called Woodland Drive, also in Hartford. I was in Hartford from 1974 until 1982. When I practiced law, my business, my law office was in Hartford. I paid taxes in Hartford. The church I'm a member of and fortunate enough to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees is in Hartford. I do all kinds of things in Hartford. When I was in the legislature, the majority of my House district was Hartford. The majority of my Senate district was Hartford. I socialize in Hartford. I just have what I think is a very deep connection to the city of Hartford, and that's where my affinity or affection for Hartford comes from.
So you feel like you have the network to kind of bring the people and the players that you think can help revitalize the city to the table if you're mayor. Do you think Hartford is coming back? Or do you feel like it's going in the right trajectory as it stands right now?
I want to pay some tribute to Mayor Bronin because, I think he's accomplished some meaningful things. And where we might disagree on some policy issues, I think he was absolutely well-intended. He's a good person. I consider him a friend, and I definitely wish him well in whatever his next endeavor may be. So what he's accomplished, I think he's revitalized the downtown area, and I think he's put the city on a much firmer financial footing. I guess where we may disagree in some respects, and hopefully not in total respects. And I think downtown development is very important, but not to the detriment of the neighborhoods. I think the neighborhoods deserve and need to receive much more attention. There are some neighborhoods in my discussions with people that feel that they've been neglected and there's been a lack of investment in those neighborhoods. So that will be at least part of my focus. The most important priority of a Coleman administration will be public safety. And
sure.
My heart is just wrenched every time I hear a report of a shooting, another shooting in Hartford. And I know it's a complicated problem. I guess I just have to feel that everybody is concerned about that problem, including Mayor Bronin and his predecessors. But sometimes I guess I've said to myself, if you want something done really, maybe you have to do it yourself. If you want to attach the kind of priority and commitment to a particular issue, maybe you have to do it yourself. And although I'm sure, there's no question in my mind that people are concerned about the number of shootings and the severity and the horrifying nature of the shootings that have taken place in the city of Hartford, I don't know if people have succumbed, that is, leaders have succumbed to the idea, well, this problem is beyond us. This problem is beyond me.
So you feel like there is more that can be done to make the city safer? We know you're talking about crime. The city has surpassed the number of homicides already for this time last year. We know crime's a problem. Here at the station, we hear about what's going on a lot. And so you feel like that we can do more.
The point that I'm trying to make is, maybe people succumb, maybe they don't put as much attention to the resolution of the problem, but I can assure the residents of the city of Hartford in a Coleman administration, Mayor Coleman would wake up every day and every morning on his mind would be, what can we do next in order to solve the senseless killings that have taken place in the city of Hartford?
You're known as someone who has friends on both sides of the aisle. People enjoy your calm demeanor. You are able to, I'm sure, build your network because people like your personality. How will that help, do you think, build trust with the police department and with residents? Because it is about getting everyone on the same page, right? Is that a tool that you think something that helped you in the legislature could help you in a leadership role?
Yeah, I think one of my abilities is I listen well. I probably listen much better than I speak. But it's as you point out, it's a very important aspect of the resolution of the problem in order to get a better relationship between residents of the community and the police department, law enforcement in general. Without that, you don't have the partnership that I think is necessary in order to oversee crime or potential criminal offenses. We need to do a lot of things, but the very first step we need to take is to improve the relationship between police and the community, whether that involves community policing, de-escalation training for police officers, creating opportunities for young people so that they don't get distracted by the lure of the glitz and the gloss of illegal behavior. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that have to come together, but as you mentioned, improving the relationship between residents and law enforcement is key and critical.
Well, I look forward to, over the next year, you coming on the program and talking about your platform. You're always welcome on here, and keep us updated on how that campaign is going. Judge Coleman.
I'd be happy to do that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, and appreciate it.
All right.
All right, coming up on The Real Story, the system that oversees more than a dozen of our colleges and universities serves more than 72,000 students. The Connecticut State Colleges and University System is joining us to talk about the things on your mind, like that important achievement gap, the unfortunate achievement gap, and the looming merger of several colleges into one, CT State, and of course, cost. We'll talk about it all coming up.